we go, tier 2, core activation, about to get started. So you probably are actually pretty warm already from the first tier because it was pretty active in the stretches, but now we're going to bump it up a notch. So the first one, you're going to get in tabletop position, okay? And, you know, we've been here quite a bit. Now with this one, I'm going to talk a little bit about the spine position. The spine position is very important because the actual exercise in itself is not complicated. You know, the bird dog position just looks like this, and we can get there pretty easily, right? You extend one arm and leg and you hold it. But the real value in getting the core activation comes from how you control your spine when you get to the bird dog position. So I'm going to show you with a stick what my spine looks like as I get into the position. Now, you guys don't have these sticks at home, and that's okay. I'm just using this to demonstrate to you what I'm asking of you in controlling your spine before you get to the actual exercise. So I got the stick on my back. Now, the stick is on my back there so you can see that when I'm in tabletop position that I have basically several points of contact that are important. Now, if my back is arched like this, hopefully in the video you can see that my low back is off of the stick. Okay, there's a space between my low back and the stick. So I can do bird dog, and you can see that space, right? Now, when my back is arched like that and there's space there, that means I'm actually using more spinal muscles to hold myself in this position. Now, it's not bad that the spine works, but if I do this, if I adjust my spine by using my core, and by core I mean abs, if I adjust by doing this, let's see the stick here. Watch this. I'm going to pull my stomach up to make my low back touch the stick. Now there's no space there. You can see that I rounded my low back a little bit to touch my lower back to the stick. Okay, so that's called a posterior pelvic tilt in this quadruped position. Now if I keep that as I do the bird dog, my arm and leg may not go as high, but my core is working much more. Okay? So now, as I said, you don't have a stick, and that's okay. But what you're going to do is you're going to get here, and hopefully you're doing this right now with me. You're going to pull your belly button into your spine a little bit to round your back just a tad. You can see I rounded my low back just a little bit. Now I'm going to do the bird dog, and you're doing this with me. My opposite arm and leg, let's say right arm, left leg go out, and I'm going to hold them out for 1 minute. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to breathe. Your arm should stay out here, but watch me as I breathe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. My left leg is completely straight. You want that knee to be locked out, completely straight, not bent a little bit, totally straight. I feel my left glute, I feel my abs because I'm keeping this posterior pelvic tilt. I'm keeping my low back rounded a little bit, and I'm keeping this right arm nice and straight out in front of me. My left arm is clearly working to hold my body weight, and I'm breathing, as I already said. So let's work. Here we go. We're still going. I'm going to do about 20 more seconds. Ton of things working here in our body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. If you guys didn't already notice, it's almost summer. and the sun is out, and I'm sweating my ass off. So hopefully you get some sunlight, or you're sweating at this point as well. Next side. Now I'm not going to demonstrate again with the stick, but you have the idea, right, where your spine should be as we're getting set up in this position. So tabletop. Do the pelvic adjustment, rounding the low back a little bit. Okay, then I get ready. My right leg is going to go straight, my left arm. Keeping that spine position. There we are. Now we hold for about a minute. Of course, choose the amount of time that's appropriate for you. You don't want to deteriorate in the form. If you deteriorate in the form, then you should stop. Now I'm breathing in and out of my nose. Keep the legs straight, the arms straight. I'm at least halfway done now. We'll do about 20 more seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Woo! Okay, so the reason why I like that one so much, it's simple because it's a hold. Isometrics are really important and helpful, just teaching us to stabilize, right? You're holding, you're keeping stable, and that's a good way to teach your muscles to activate. So as we have the arm extended out, we're obviously working the shoulder. As we have the leg extended out behind us, we're working that glute and hamstring. And then the hand and knee that are on the ground are focal points to engage our core in between. So our abs are working in between the hand and knee that are on the ground, contralaterally to engage. So we get obliques, rectus abdominis, a lot of different things. Now, next one. So you got both sides there. This next one, you're going to start by sitting on your butt. Obviously, that's what I'm doing. And then you're going to grab your toes. Now, for some of us, our mobility is going to be a little bit different, right? So some of us are going to be here. Some of us are going to be out here. But my knees, almost 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more open, depending on what your mobility is. Okay, but it's about 90. And then I'm going to pull my toes back. And I'm actually going to grab onto my toes with my fingers. Okay? So I got a big groin stretch here. Now, what I'm trying to do is pull my chest upright. So you can see, hopefully, that my spine is somewhat flat and tall. Okay, that's the position that you're trying to maintain. Now, it's easy to do that as you grab, because when you grab, you're going to pull yourself up using your hands, okay? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to use your hands and arms to pull your chest upright, okay? Now, you have that position. You're feeling that stretch. What you're going to consider now with your legs is you're going to think, push your knees towards the ground consciously, and not using your elbows, but using your hips. So that looks like that. I'm using my hips, my external rotators of my hips, to push my knees towards the ground. So I got my chest upright. I'm pushing my knees down towards the ground using my hips. I'm going to brace my abs, so I'm squeezing right here. And now keeping all of that, keeping the knees, keeping the abs, keeping the height, I'm going to take my hands off and hold them out in front of me. Now notice my body didn't move. Okay, if I did all that, and I was relaxed, and I took my hands off, I would dump, I would fall backwards, my knees would come together like this. You don't want anything to change at all. So I'm tall, my knees are pushing down, my abs are tight, I take my hands off slowly, boom, now I'm holding. I'm holding this for 1 minute. Join me. My knees are pushing to the ground hard. I'm staying tall. My abs are tight. Breathing. You should see that my posture is still tall, still engaged. My groin is still opening. Hips still working, abs still working. I got 18 more seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. Woo. All right. So that one gets a lot. As I already said, the outside of the hips are working. You're opening the groin as you do that. Your core is engaged. Your spine is tall. Really mobilizing yet activating at the same time there. Now, the last exercise that we're going to do is a glute hamstring exercise. So you're going to lay on your back, put one ankle on the other knee, much like we did earlier with the figure 4 stretch or figure 4 mobilization on the ball. But now obviously you're laying on your back. And we're going to do 15 single leg bridges. Okay, so I'm going to be pushing my hips up off the ground, keeping this position. So it's going to be opening up my left hip while I'm using my right hip and glute here. Okay, so I'm going to push my hands down into the ground. I'm going to do 15 reps. I'm going to inhale up, exhale down with control. Squeeze this right glute, hamstring, exhale down. Full rest, repeat. Now, a lot of us will cramp as we do this one. Okay, if you cramp, come out of it, stretch the hamstring, give it a couple seconds, go back into it. The reason why we rolled before is to make sure that the glute is working and the hamstring doesn't overly work as you do this one. So that's 4. Glute activation really comes from connecting with and focusing on getting the glute to work. You have to think about the sensation there to feel that glute work rather than the hamstring. That's 7. Sometimes it helps to think about keeping the abs tight with this so that the back doesn't work too much. At 9. Five more. Got one more. All right, we're going to switch. Shake that leg out if you need to. Right ankle on the left knee. Here we go. Focus on that glute firing. Get that good squeeze at the top. Really push your hips up as high as you can. That's 10 for me. I got 5 more. One more. There's 15. There is tier 2. We're done with this tier. We're moving on to tier 3.